Hey everybody, it's Kathy Littler, me with HCG, and I did the fall 2012 tag once, but it got all split up and messed up, and so I thought I would come in and let you all know how I'm doing and to do the tag. Anyway, right now I think I'm like 2 weeks into P3. And I'm 3 pounds over LDW today. I've been down as low as a couple pounds below and up as far as 4 pounds, I think, and I've yo-yoed back and forth. I'm not exactly sure where I'll be tomorrow. I'm trying to eat pretty good. Trying to eat with the hunger scale, not as good as I would like to. I still have issues with working in the evenings and eating after that, and so that's just a habit more than anything else that I've got to break. I have started incorporating exercise. A big part of the time, Monday through Thursday while I work. There's a girl that I work with that had gastric bypass surgery, and she wants to walk on breaks, and so I walk with her on breaks. So we have about a 15, 20 minute sometimes break in the mornings and in the afternoons, and we walk those 2 times. So I'm getting a good 30 minutes in a day. 4 days a week. I would like to get in some more, but I don't know that I'm not exactly sure how to work it in. I mean, I know that if there's something that you really want to do, you'll set your mind to it and you'll get it accomplished. I know that, and so I guess maybe truly I don't want to do it as bad as I kind of say I do, otherwise it'd be happening already. I was looking back, I went to Ms. Hcg Girl's place last year, and we had a great time, and I really appreciated her and her husband's hospitality. And I looked back on my journal, and it's really funny because today I am like 1 pound higher than I was back then. I've done a couple rounds since then. I've gone up. This last load I was up as high as 191 maybe. I've gone down as low as 159 for my very lowest. Right now I'm sitting at 177. I don't really know where I'd like to be. 159, I still felt like maybe I had some abnormal fat that I needed to get rid of, but at the time I was just spent and I was done with it. So, anyway, I don't know. I'll sit here until the beginning of the year, and we'll see what happens. I've done I've done homeopathic all the time. Well, we'll get into that in a second. But anyway, so I'm not saying I will never do another round by any means, because I've learned to never say never. And I kind of would like to see if I could get down the rest of the way. Heavy Conscious gal, she's like 5'9" too, and I would just like to see how thin I could really be before I got to that hunger situation. I don't know if I could ever do that. I don't know that the people in my life would have a major issue with it, I think, if I did. A lot of them feel that where I am right now is fine, and I am fine with where I am right now, but there's a part of me that would like to see it go down a little lower. I'm in the same clothes that I was when I was 159, which is crazy as that is. They might have been a little bit looser, but they weren't, they're not uncomfortable now that I've done this last round. But at 191, I was still wearing them. They were uncomfortable then, but I was still wearing them. Anyway, okay, so let's do the tag. Sorry if you came in to see a tag and you got that little tad bit of information prior to, but I got to get it all in at once or it's not going to happen. Okay, so my real name is Kathy. Do I do RX or homeopathic? Every round I've done homeopathic. The first 2 rounds I did sublingual drops, and every round since then I did the pellets. Okay, so sublingual or injection sublingual. Let's see. What do you do for a living? I work for the state. I work with Medicare and Medicaid. I work with getting money returned to us from providers once they realize that individuals have Medicare. I also work part-time as a clerk at a grocery store. I cashier, and I'm also a city council person. So, and mom and a wife. Interesting job. Share a funny story. I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, I've had some very hard jobs in my life. I've worked factory jobs where I worked in one factory where I made waffle irons, and they gave you breaks in the afternoon when the temperature in the building was over 100 degrees. You had lemonade breaks. So I've worked in a turkey poultry processing plant where my hands and wrists and everything hurt so bad that they'd wake me up at night, and I would have difficulty picking things up. My hands are so weak. So icky jobs, but I always tried to make the most of the job that I had. At the time that I worked at the poultry processing plant, I worked side by side with Di herself. And we had a good time there, as crazy as it was. We sang a lot, we played a lot of games, and you know, we made the most of what we were doing there. Probably the funniest story, I worked at Pizza Hut as a waitress, and the Pizza Hut had just opened up, and we were crazy busy. And a guy came up to apply for a job, and he wanted to talk to the manager, and you know, we were really busy. He said I was rude. I'm sure that wasn't true. I said that we were busy, and that he would be with him in a little bit if he wanted to take a seat. He said that I said, well, as you can see, we are very busy. That's not true. Anyway, later on, he got the job. Then he became an assistant manager. And later on, he became my fiance. And now he's my husband. And so we worked side by side for quite a while there. And as friends, and then as boyfriend and girlfriend, and then when we got ready to get married, one of us had to get a different job, and so that little thing went away. But anyway, so probably he thought I was hateful, and I thought he talked funny. So I mean, when we first met, it was not love at first sight. So let's see. Do other people struggle in my family with weight? Yes, they do. My son struggles with it. And I was always the heavy one in my family, and I've lost some weight now, and and because of age, and all the other things that come with getting older, my siblings have gained some weight, and so it's different to be on the other end of the situation there. And so but yeah, I mean, you know, everybody in my family for the most part has a little bit of an issue with it. Have I tried other weight loss programs? Oh lordy, yes. All the way from like the Dolly Parton diet, those little AIDS cube things that tasted like chocolate caramels, diet pills, slow and fast, Weight Watchers. I did Weight Watchers in 8th grade, and I lost. In 8th grade I was over 200 pounds. Between 7th and 8th grade I was over 200 pounds, and I got down to 170 something, and that's the lowest that I've ever been. And I didn't stay there for very long, and that's probably the best. Well, I did that, and then later on in life I had gastric bypass surgery, and of course I dropped some weight with that, but I never did hit my goal with it, and eventually I went right back up to where I was, and maybe not quite as high, but probably, if not very close to as high as I was before I had surgery. So let's see. Funny or worse stories about weight loss. Gastric bypass is not a fun thing. Especially maybe if the end result would have stayed and everything would have been hunky-dory, maybe living through the sensation of almost having a heart attack and then having to go relieve yourself because you can't even swallow your own saliva. Sorry for the graphics, but you know, that is an awful feeling, and so yeah, that's probably the worst. Not to mention the giant scar from my boobs to my everywhere, which brings me to have I had any other chronic problems? Yeah, we had a very difficult time getting pregnant. A lot of what the doctor said was because of my weight. I had always had issues with my periods. I've had 2 D&Cs, and then I had a partial hysterectomy. So those issues, as far as high blood pressure and all that, no, and diabetes or anything, no. My mother has type 2 diabetes. She got later in life. My dad died of a heart attack, so those things do run in my family, but as of right now, knock on wood and thank God, I don't have those issues. Let's see. Do I have my vitamin D checked? No, but I am going to go to the doctor in December and have my wellness checkup. And at that point, I think it'd be interesting to look and see just exactly what all my blood work, you know, has, and see where all that stuff falls, because I have no idea. Let's see. And what does HCG mean to me? Wow. I have never in my life been this size, even when I was in 8th grade. Of course, I know sizes have changed through the years, I truly believe. But even when I was in 8th grade and I had lost the weight, I have a picture, and if I ever get my everything all together where I feel like I'm truly done, I'll do a composite of all that. But I have a picture of a girlfriend and me for 8th grade graduation, and I was as thin as she was, and I was thrilled to death with the fact that I was. And I think my mom made my dress a straight 14, maybe. I kind of want to say 16, but it might have been a 14. And almost all of my clothes were made from scratch because, I was born in '58, so I mean the stuff that was popular to wear at the time that I was in school, the sizes that I was, were old lady clothes, and so my mom could sew, and she made a lot of my clothes, and so but never cut straight to a pattern. You always had to add all that to the sides and blah blah blah. And so but I can remember my graduation dress was cut to the pattern, and I was so excited about that. And I remember finding it later on. I wish I could find it. I probably threw it away, knowing that I would never be able to get into it again. But I remember seeing it at one point and holding it up and thinking, oh my gosh, how did I ever fit in there? And now I do that with pants and stuff when they come out of the dryer, like pull them out, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's a little extreme. I'm not that small. But, I mean, it's like, it's crazy. I never, like Happy Conscious Gal, I never thought, I thought I was Amazon bone woman, just big. And for me to wear size 10 pants, which is what I have on today, a large shirt from the regular size, the regular people's clothes, is unreal. And so it means a whole new life for me as far as places I've never been, sizes I have never been in my life ever. And so it's been great. But like I said, I don't think my journey is over. I'm not exactly sure. I will sit here and try to behave myself over the holidays and try to be good and try to stick where I am, and learn. Every single round I've learned something, and I think that that's important. And I take long spells between rounds, and I think that's important, because I think you gotta test the waters after you get done and see what you can do. And so anyway, I'm gonna sit here until after the first of the year, and then as of right now, I'm kind of thinking that I'll do another round when the new year comes, but I'm just not sure. And I did long rounds before, but I don't know. I did this short round this time, and golly, I loved that. I think I could do 2 or 3 short rounds that just, it would take me forever with taking a space in between each one. But you get into it, and you're really into it, and before you know it, you're done. So 21 days is nothing. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see. I just know that I'm happy where I am right now. It's amazing that I really am exactly where I was last year. And there's times where I think, oh, I failed because I have gone back up and down and up and down. But being where I am, I never thought I'd be last October, in the 170s, and now here I am in October 2012, and I'm in the 170s still. So we'll see where we go. But if you are in P2, I hope you're dropping it like crazy. I hope that if you're in P3, that you do as I say and not as I do, and that you stabilize like you're supposed to, because I think that that's key. If you're loading, I hope you can enjoy yourself, and if you're in maintenance, I hope that you can stay there and enjoy life as the new you. And so I will talk to you soon. Bye.